presentation. Right, so hello, my name is Lindsay Blake and I'm the Student Recruitment Manager for Buckinghamshire New University. You might have heard of us as Bucks, but we're about to be elongating our name to Buckinghamshire, and I haven't got used to saying it yet. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about us, who we are, where we are, and what we do. Sorry, my slides aren't moving on here. Let's get rid of that. Sorry, my slides aren't moving on. Let me try that one. There we go. Right, so we've got new in our title, but actually we've been around for 130 years, and we're a really modern university. So we're a new breed of university. So we focus on degrees that are professional and practical, as well as academic. We like to think we're young in outlook. But we're really well established in the fields that we specialise in. So you may know that we offer really high quality, professionally driven courses in everything from nursing, social and healthcare. We do cyber fraud detection, textiles, aviation. So we have a massive range of career focused degrees that we deliver. We believe that our students should get a really hands-on experience to teach them the skills that they need to get their dream job in their chosen career field. And we teach them and we assess them in such a way that it actually is relatable to what they're going to be doing. So we don't do a lot of exams and essays and that kind of thing. We do things that are very specific to what they are going to be doing in their proper career. So where are we? Well, we are a very local based university. You may have seen the big blue building in High Wycombe. That's our main campus. And then we have the very beautiful Aylesbury campus and our Uxbridge campus, which is just inside London. Really town centre, really state of the art facilities. Aylesbury and Uxbridge are concentrating on nursing and health related courses at the moment, and the majority of the rest of our courses are based at High Wycombe. We don't offer many of the traditional subjects that you might expect universities to do and things that people might have done at GCSE and A level. So things like history, geography, maths. That's not the kind of university we are. What we do offer are courses that have a very strong vocational element and a real route into employment. All our courses have a proper element of work experience, not just a formal placement, but working with industry on live commercial briefs. I mean, that can be in art and design. They're constantly in our fashion and textiles. They're working with top employers, doing live briefs and coming up with actual products. Through to things like where you might expect it in business, where we're working with employers, charities, retailers on live briefs and actually doing stuff that they'll be doing when they graduate. Sorry, lost my place. We're also forging contact constantly with employers, or it could be volunteering. I know on a lot of our psychology and criminology placements, they're volunteering, they're going on and working in place with charities, with mental health, with prisons, with probation service. And we think this experience is really vital to make sure our students are qualified for their chosen career once they've graduated. With us, it's all about getting you a job at the end of it. We don't want you to come to university, sit on your bum for 3 years, learn something really lovely, but then not be able to get a job at the end of it. That's kind of university we are. It's very much about moving you on to that next place in your life. So what does make us different? I'm just going to take you through a few of the courses that we do and tell you a little bit about them to maybe give you some examples. Nursing. So I mentioned that we teach this from our campuses in Uxbridge and Aylesbury. Both of them have fully mocked up NHS wards that in an absolute emergency could be used by the NHS. But everything that you would use on an NHS ward is in there, and it's all proper equipment, and you get real hands-on experience right from day one. We call them our simulation wards. So you can see this is in Aylesbury, and they are working, they're doing a simulation on one of our really, really freakily realistic mannequins that we've got at Aylesbury. They really are quite scary. And they've got heartbeats. We can do simulations where you can see that their blood pressure is going down. They can blink, they can cry, they can make noises. You can kill them. It's fine. You just get to have a go at these things. So yeah, there's lots of simulations that you do. So you are learning these before you go off and do your first actual placement in a hospital. So we work with lots of the big hospitals within central London, out to the west of London, High Wycombe and up to Stoke Mandeville. And our nursing students get really, really exceptional hands-on experience for half of their time at Bucks. It's clearly been a bit of a tricky year for them, but they have been able to get their experience, and they're extra. So they're not just working in an NHS hospital, they're an extra person to the team. They call it superannuary, and it means that it means that they are extra and they're just there to learn. This year we are launching Paramedic Science, and we've just taken delivery of our 2 ambulances, so they're going to get really great hands-on experience there. And we're going to be working with the London Ambulance Service and also with South Central Ambulance Service on that for their placement. So they'll be spending a fair bit of time on placement too, learning all that. And we're also about to launch midwifery with placements across London and the South East. And of course, all these kinds of courses are taught by people who have been on the sharp end, who have been working in nursing, in midwifery, and I believe Will, who's just launching our Paramedic Science course, he is still working for the London Ambulance Service. So he's still doing a couple of shifts just to keep his hand in so that he's really current. Film and TV production, it says what it does on the tin. So our students are getting real hands-on commercial experience. And when we say hands-on, we've got all the equipment that they need to be able to get a really great experience. So they can be out and about. We've got an outside broadcast van, and that goes out to local sports fixtures. And our students are there on a Saturday morning from 7 o'clock doing the cabling, the lighting, the sound, the cameras, and they're learning the really important tracking skills, because if you don't keep that ball in your camera and it goes in the goal, then you're in trouble. And then every 3 weeks before the pandemic, this is all before the pandemic, it's all going to take off again next year. But before the pandemic, BBC Introducing were coming in every 3 weeks, and they would bring up and coming music artists in, and our film and television and our music students would work with the BBC producers to film clips for the BBC website. So that's really fantastic experience for them. Not only are they actually getting hands-on experience, but they're meeting the BBC producers, they're working with the BBC producers. So when they graduate, they have the skills that they need already to get those kinds of jobs. Mentioned on here our commercial pilots degree. So it's airline and airport management with commercial pilot's license. So what our students do there, they are learning all about the logistics and the management of airlines and airports, but they're also at the same time learning to fly. So they work with our flying partners. Booker Airfield is one of them. And by the time they graduate, they've got a degree, but also a commercial pilot's license. Do have to put my hand up here and say there is some additional costs to learning to fly. It isn't included within your within your tuition fees. Sport and sports therapy, we do quite a lot of this, and they're really successful. So especially all our sports courses, a lot of them are leading people into careers within sports coaching, sports education, into community sports. But we have our Human Performance Lab, which is the base for all our sports courses. And it's got absolutely cutting edge technology. And we do get it booked out by professional sports clubs who come in and use facilities, and our students are there. So their students and staff are getting to network with these employers right from day one, as well as getting their degree. Sports therapy is one of my favourite degrees. And if you are sort of High Wycombe based, post-lockdown, we do have a sports therapy clinic where our sports therapy students do massages sports massagers. They're absolutely brilliant. And I think it's about £10 for an hour. So if you need a sports massage, come down and visit our sports therapy clinic, because our sports therapy students have to have quite a lot of, it's hundreds of hours of hands-on experience. So we have our own sports therapy centre where they can practice on the public, and within their first year they've got all their massage skills that they need for this. And we'll do things like we train them in sports first aid, so they can do touchline, and they have to have a lot of placement hours, so they're very much in demand by sports teams and by gyms, and that kind of experience they can bring to it. And lastly, just a little bit on our music and audio courses. So we have got the best facilities. They're really good. We've got all these studios and editing suites, performance studios and mixing desks, and it is all industry standard equipment that they are using, and they are trained very early on all the skills that they need for this. And then they're given a lot of free rein after that, but they've got these studio skills that they can take out and use in the industry. So they could go and work in a radio station, they could go and work in broadcasting. They've got those skills on the industry standard equipment that they need. So that's just a few of the examples of how we teach and the results we get. I could go on, I wax lyrical for hours on Bucks-New University and all the different courses that we do and how we teach them. Even to courses that you think would have no hands-on experience, we do it. And it does work. So we are in the top 10 universities for employment rate. And this is not just me making this up. You might be able to tell I do love my university. But there's figures from the Higher Education Statistics Agency. It shows that Buckinghamshire University has one of the top employment rates in the UK. And 98% of our graduates were in or about to start employment or further study within 18 months of graduation. So yeah, top 10. I've been gabbling on a little bit, so I'm going to have to go quite quickly on my last slide. So what makes us different? We are achievable. So our UCAS tariff points, you don't need to have an A star to go to university. There's too much snobbishness around universities about how you've got to go to Russell Group, you've got to have 3 A stars, it's not for normal people. Rubbish. You don't. We are achievable. We go from around 3 Cs at A level, and we love people with BTECs because they have those great skills, being very much hands-on. Small and friendly, so we do know our students. You will have the same tutor throughout your time. They will be approachable, they will help you. If there's a brilliant bit of work experience that comes up and they know that you are the person for it, they'll push you in the right direction. We do support our students. I think through the pandemic, we have been absolutely exemplary. The way that we've not tied them into contracts for housing, we've got rid of deposits for accommodation, we've kept our campus open. We have been teaching face-to-face within government guidelines wherever we can. And that support is there. And part of that is the fact that we are small and we know you. Hands-on really does mean hands-on. Hopefully I've given you enough examples of that. Employer-led, we're working with employers all the time, and we are future-proofing our degrees. So we are looking a couple of years down the line, what are we going to need then? The fact that a lot of our lecturers, our academics, are still working in the industries that they are teaching means that they're very in touch with what's going on there. Skills-based, hopefully I've covered all that with the hands-on kind of teaching we're doing. Employable, showing you the figures, didn't make them up. And lastly, the big deal is something that's run by our Students' Union. And it means that apart from drinks and food, everything else within our Students' Union, all the societies, the sports, the CV building, all those kinds of things are free. Because at Bucks, we believe that everybody should get the same experience at university, and it doesn't matter what kind of background you come from. It's your personality, it's your future, and you should get the same experience as everybody else. So that's me, a whistle-stop tour of Bucks. I wasn't convinced I was going to fill the time, but clearly I have. If anybody got any questions, then obviously, hopefully we'll get some questions now, but do feel free to contact us. It could be advice@Bucks or just me, and we'd be more than happy to answer your questions.
That's great, Lindsay. That was.
You see, set me off, point me in the right direction. You can't stop me talking. And,
Well, that's what we needed today. Anyway, we needed, people who can talk and speak, and I think that was really good. It was really informative. And I've got a great message here for you from Nahida, and she says, "I will be booking myself in for a massage as soon as we are able to."
they are brilliant. They are. It's just like you come out, it's like, oh.
Really? Have you taken one?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love it.
Really? Great. And how can you book those massages? It's just
we book them internally, but you can, but we do have external clients. I think if you Googled the sports therapy clinic at Buckinghamshire University, you'd be able to find it. But yeah, our sports therapy students are absolutely outstanding. And sometimes when you think about university, people think it's a bit of a easy time. You're not working that hard. Our sports therapy students, they literally are working all day, every day. And if they turn up late for their lectures, they don't let them in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's basically, it's a professional degree. And they expect a level of professionalism from them right from the start. And it's amazing. You see these kids who turn up at 18 and they're a little bit, and they become these fantastic professionals, because you've got to be a professional to get a job in that industry.
Absolutely. And I think this is the time for them to learn all these skills, and the professionalism, everything that is needed, because when you go out in the world, it's a very different story there. Like,
yeah, I mean, and there are skills gaps, you hear about people. I used to think that film and TV production was a bit of a Mickey Mouse degree until I found out what our kids do and how hard they work and the skills that they come out with. And that there are skills gaps in that industry, in these technical roles, in the people who know how to do the lighting and the cameras and all that kind of thing. That's where the skill gaps are. There's loads of people who can write, like films, they're lovely, but to actually do it, that's where the skills gaps are. So I think that's the sort of slot that we fill as universities.
That's great. That is absolutely fantastic. So I've got a few questions for you, Lindsay.
Okay.
So Joanne has asked, if students' school grades are not what they had hoped for, can they still apply for courses?
Absolutely. So hopefully there's a thing called clearing in the summer, and the clearing, it's almost like an end of season sale. It's where all the universities who haven't filled courses put those courses up, and sometimes they have lower grades for them. Things I would say is, if you've not got the grades, talk to the university. First thing to do is call a university and talk to them. We're really friendly. And I think people think it's got to go through UCAS. It's all got to be very stable. You can talk to us. Come to an open day. Come and find the course leader and say, this is what I've got. And the other alternative is we do a thing called foundation year. And that is for people who haven't quite got the grades. And it's like an extra year. So it's almost like doing a 4-year degree. So you do a foundation year. And if you successfully complete your foundation year, then you are guaranteed a place on the first year of that degree course. So that is the way that is. And people use that if they're not quite ready. If they've like had a break from studying and they don't think they're quite ready to go into year one, they can do a foundation year as well. So I think first thing, whatever university, talk to the university first and ask them the question.
Oh, that is a great piece of advice, Lindsay. And I can confirm that you are a very friendly university, because they have friendly staff members there. My experience with you has been, you've been so supportive. Red Kite and Bucks University work.
Yes, it's always a buzzing day. I can't wait to be back on campus, because it's always a really buzzing day.
Absolutely, I'm sure that day will come back soon, and we will be able to run some of the events actually, like physically, because we do miss that buzz.
I think we can see that light at the end of the tunnel now. So
absolutely. I have got a question from Sophie. Does the uni offer financial support for students that might be struggling?
Yes, we do. We have a number of scholarships and bursaries. Some of them you have to be a specific, we do things like care leavers and people who are estranged from their parents. We have specific ones for that. Some of them are to do with academic achievement. Some of them are to do with hardship. We also do a hardship fund, which is like a short-term loan for students in crisis. And there's another one which I can't off the top of my head, but on our webpage, books.ac.uk, there is a full page on our scholarships and bursaries. And whatever university people might be thinking of going to, check out the scholarships and bursaries, because they're free and you don't have to pay them back. But also check out on your student finance if there are additional allowances that you could get, things like if you've got children, if you've got any disabilities, those kinds of things. If you've got caring responsibilities, there are additional pots of money that you can get.
Oh, that's fantastic. And there's a lovely feedback for you from Halima. She says, "Thank you, Lindsay. Love the last slide, particularly around challenging the snobbish attitude around joining universities. Really important for young people to know. Just call the university is a great piece of advice."
Absolutely. I think people are really scared. They go, it's UCAS, we have to do it this way. You don't. You can apply directly to a lot of universities, not for all courses. But if UCAS have this deadline for the 15th of, or it was the 29th of January this year, where they say, if you don't apply by now, you can't, which is not true. For the majority of universities, we will keep taking applications right up and through the summer. So don't think because that 29th of January has gone, you can apply directly to some universities, not all of them, some of them, and you can still apply through UCAS. And we have certain courses, nursing, midwifery and things like that, you have to apply through UCAS. But most of our other courses, you can apply directly to us.
Lovely, that is great. And you know what, Lindsay, I remember my experience of when I was applying to study for contemporary education. I remember the whole UCAS process, and panic, and oh my God, I can't miss the deadline, and I need to choose my top 4 or top 5, and so
if we've got any year 12s who are listening at the moment, we will be running a lot of webinars on Wednesday afternoons that you can just drop in, and we will be talking about personal statements and the UCAS journey and what happens when. Because if you've not been to university, if your parents haven't been to university, then sometimes it seems like this, like, oh my God, what do I do next? And it's really simple, but people just sometimes need to just be talked through it and go, this will happen here, this will happen here, this will happen here.
Yeah. Have you noticed low numbers of application, Lindsay? Because since the pandemic, it has hit hard on young people, and a lot of young people are not sure what to do, which path to choose, what career, Have you noticed?
We are not seeing that at all at the moment, and I think some of that could be to do with the fact that we are very vocational, so people can see, and we do things like policing and paramedic and nursing are all up, and I think that is to do with the fact that we've had this pandemic and people want to go into careers that can make a difference. We are outperforming the market at the moment, but actually, I think young people are looking at it at the moment and thinking, university might be a good bet at the moment to get myself skilled, because we're probably going to have some kind of recession coming along once we open up again. So no, actually at the moment our application figures are huge. So
that's great news. Oh, fantastic, Lindsay. Thank you so much for all your time and
for welcome.
Support. And for some reason, I don't know why I can't stop myself, but I can see loads of medals behind you. What's the story behind this? Come on, you need to share this.
I was a runner when I was younger, so it's just medals. They give you a medal. You only have to run like you don't have to run fast. I didn't win any races. It's just to taking part. So,
but it's still looking nice. I think like, oh, I've got tons of medals with me.
Yeah, just get that in the background.
Thank you so much, Lindsay, for your time today, and I'm sure we'll touch in near future again. It could be a job fair or anything else, but it's lovely to have you. You are our local university, and I'm sure lots of young people are going to apply, and you will receive lots of queries around vocational courses.
Come to us, we're lovely.
Oh, you guys are absolutely. Take care, Lindsay. Have a